They look at you and see what they want to see, just another face in the crowd, a puppet playing their little game. They judge, label, and dismiss you, thinking they've figured you out. But have they? Do they really know the storm that's brewing behind your smile? The fire you've kept hidden beneath the mask? No, they don't. And that's their mistake. You've spent too long trying to fit into their neat little boxes, haven't you? Following their rules, chasing their approval, wearing their chains. They tell you who to be, what to say, how to act, like you're a character in a play they've written. But deep down you felt it, haven't you? That itch, that voice in the back of your mind whispering, this isn't you. And they laugh at you when you stumble. They mock your pain, your struggles, your dreams. You're a joke to them, a punchline in a story they think they control. But what they don't see, what they can't even imagine, is that the joke's on them. Because every time they pushed you down, you got back up. Every time they doubted you, they fueled your fire. And now, it's your time. Not to blend in, not to please them, but to rise above them. To show them that the person they underestimated, the one they thought was weak, was simply sharpening their claws. You don't need their approval, their applause, or their pity. What you need is to let them see what happens when someone refuses to stay broken. Let them see the power they tried to crush, the will they couldn't destroy. You don't need to tell them who you are. You will show them. You feel it, don't you? That weight pressing down on your chest. The constant whisper in your mind telling you that you're not enough. You wake up every day putting on the same mask, playing the same role, hoping that maybe, just maybe, today will be different, but it never is. Let's face it, you're stuck. Stuck in a world that thrives on tearing people like you apart. A world that sets the rules, watches you struggle to follow them, and laughs when you fail. They want you to believe that the problem is you, that you're the one who's broken. But that's not the truth, is it? The truth is, the game was rigged from the start. They've trained you to believe in their lies. They've told you that your emotions are a weakness, that your anger makes you dangerous, your sadness makes you fragile, and your fear makes you powerless. And you believed them. You let their words shape you, mold you into something smaller, something safer. But let me ask you this, safe for who? You think you're angry at the world, but the truth is, you're angry at yourself. Angry because you know deep down that you've been holding back. You've let their opinions cage you. You've let their expectations suffocate you. And for what? To fit in, to be accepted, to feel like you belong in a world that was never built for you. And it's not just anger, is it? There's sadness too. A sadness that comes from knowing that you've given so much of yourself to people who don't even see you. They see what they want to see, a version of you that's convenient for them. And you've played along, haven't you? Smiling when you didn't want to, staying silent when you should have spoken up, pretending everything was fine when inside you were falling apart. But let's not forget the fear. Oh, the fear. It's the most crippling of all, isn't it? The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of being alone. It's what keeps you up at night, what keeps you from taking risks, from speaking your truth, from living the life you know you're capable of. They've used that fear against you, weaponized it to keep you in line, to keep you quiet, to keep you small. And here's the worst part, they don't care. The world doesn't care about your struggles, your pain, your tears. They see you as a cog in the machine, a means to an end. They don't care if you're happy, if you're fulfilled, if you're living or just surviving. As long as you play your part, they're satisfied. But you're not satisfied, are you? No, you're tired. Tired of being overlooked, underestimated, and ignored. Tired of pretending to be something you're not. Tired of living in a world that doesn't see your worth. And that's the real problem. The problem isn't your anger, your sadness, or your fear. The problem is that you've been letting those emotions control you instead of using them. You've been letting the world dictate who you are instead of deciding for yourself. You've been waiting for permission to live, to thrive, to be the person you were always meant to be. But let me tell you something, permission is a lie. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. What you need is to stop letting their rules define you. What you need is to take back control. Because the real problem isn't them. It's that you've forgotten who you are. Let me ask you something, why are you still waiting? Waiting for the world to notice you. Waiting for someone to save you. Waiting for life to magically change and finally give you what you deserve. It won't. Life doesn't work that way. The world isn't going to hand you anything. If you think it will, you're fooling yourself. Here's the harsh truth: nobody's coming to rescue you. No knight in shining armor, no miraculous moment, no savior. And why should they? Why should anyone care more about your life than you do? Think about it. You sit there, hoping, wishing, dreaming, but what are you actually doing? Crying about your struggles? Complaining about how unfair life is? Acting like a victim? Do you think that's enough? Do you think the world owes you anything just because you're hurt, angry, or tired? It doesn't. It never has, and it never will. So stop blaming the world for your problems. Stop blaming them, him, her, anyone but yourself. Because the moment you put the blame elsewhere, you give away your power. And isn't that what you've been doing all along? You're afraid, aren't you? Afraid to take responsibility. Afraid to face the truth. Afraid to admit that you've been holding yourself back. It's easier to point fingers, isn't it? Easier to say it's their fault. The system. The circumstances. The past. But let me tell you something, none of that matters. Not anymore. What matters is what you're going to do now. Are you going to keep hiding behind excuses? Are you going to keep letting fear paralyze you, letting pain control you, letting anger consume you? Or are you finally going to do something about it? Let me be brutally honest with you. You've been wasting your potential, wasting your strength, wasting your life. You have power inside you more than you know, but you've been too scared to use it. Too scared to stand up and say, enough. You've let others dictate who you are. You've let your emotions dictate your actions. And for what? To stay comfortable, to avoid risk, to fit in? Comfort is a lie. Safety is an illusion. The truth is you're not living. You're existing. You're surviving. And that's not enough, not for someone like you. Not for someone who was meant for more. So here's my challenge to you: prove me wrong. Prove to me that you're not just another pawn in their game. Prove to me that you have what it takes to rise above the noise, the pain, the fear. Show me that you're not afraid to fight for what you want. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the right moment. There is no right moment. There's only now. And now is the time to act. Now is the time to take back control, to stop being the victim and start being the victor. It won't be easy. It will hurt. It will break you down. But guess what? You've already been broken. You've already felt pain, disappointment, and rejection. So what's one more battle? At least this time you'll be fighting for yourself. Look in the mirror. Look at the person staring back at you. That person is your competition. That person is your enemy. And that person is your greatest ally. The only question is, will you step up? Will you rise to the challenge? Or will you keep playing it safe, keep hiding, keep pretending that this is enough? Because it's not. You know it. I know it. So stop running from the truth. Face it. Own it. And then do something about it. You want to show them who you are. Start by showing yourself. So you've been angry, sad, afraid, and you've let those emotions run wild, haven't you? They've controlled you, dictated your choices, and kept you in chains. But what if I told you that the very things holding you back are the keys to setting yourself free? Think about it. What is anger, really? It's energy, raw and untamed. When you lash out in anger, it's not because you're weak, it's because you don't know how to control it. But here's the secret. Anger isn't your enemy. It's your weapon. And like any weapon, it's dangerous if left unchecked, but powerful when mastered. Instead of letting it consume you, learn to channel it. Let it fuel your determination, sharpen your focus, and drive you forward. And sadness. Sadness. You've been taught that sadness makes you fragile, that it's something to hide, to suppress. But sadness is a mirror. It shows you what you value, what you care about, what you're afraid to lose. Instead of drowning in it, listen to it. Let it teach you about yourself. Turn your pain into purpose, your loss into wisdom, and your despair into strength. Then there's fear. The monster in the shadows, the voice in your head whispering, "You can't." Fear has kept you paralyzed, hasn't it? But fear isn't here to stop you, it's here to guide you. Fear points you toward the things that matter most, the things worth fighting for. Embrace it. Don't run from fear, run toward it. Because on the other side of fear is where your power lies. Now, here's where it gets real. None of this will happen by accident. You won't wake up one day magically in control of your emotions. You have to train yourself, shape yourself, mold yourself into the person you want to be. It starts with a decision to stop being a slave to your feelings and start being their master. Here's how you do it. First, face the chaos inside. Don't ignore it. Don't suppress it, face it. Look at your anger, your sadness, your fear, and ask yourself, what are these emotions trying to tell me? What do they want me to do? And then, instead of reacting blindly, take control. Decide what you want to do. Second, practice discipline. Emotions are powerful, yes, but they're not invincible. With discipline, you can tame them. Start small. When you feel anger rising, pause. Take a breath. Don't let it explode, let it simmer, let it focus. When sadness creeps in, don't wallow in it, write it down, speak it out, turn it into something productive. When fear strikes, don't shrink away, take one step forward, even if it's small. Third, reframe your mind. Stop seeing emotions as obstacles and start seeing them as tools. Your anger isn't here to destroy you, it's here to push you. Your sadness isn't here to weaken you, it's here to strengthen you. Your fear isn't here to stop you, it's here to prepare you. And finally, act. All the knowledge in the world means nothing if you don't own it. Take that first step, no matter how small. Confront that fear you've been avoiding. Pursue that dream you've been postponing. Let your actions show the world and yourself what you're capable of. Because here's the truth, you're not powerless. You've never been powerless. The power has always been within you, waiting for you to claim it. All it takes is the decision to stop letting your emotions control you and start using them to your advantage. So, what's it going to be? Will you keep letting the chaos inside rule your life, or will you take the reins? The choice is yours. The power is yours. It always has been. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself standing in the center of a storm. The wind howls, the rain pours, and chaos surrounds you. But there you are, calm, unshaken, unbreakable. The storm isn't tearing you apart, it's fueling you. You are not a victim of the chaos, you are its master. That's who you're becoming. A force of nature. A person who doesn't bow to life's trials but bends them to their will. And it starts here, right now, with you taking back control. Think about everything you've been through, every setback, every heartbreak, every failure. Most people would crumble under the weight of that pain. But you didn't. You're still here, still standing. Why? Because deep down, you know you're stronger than you've ever allowed yourself to be. Your anger, your sadness, your fear, they don't define you. What defines you is what you choose to do with them. Imagine this. Instead of letting anger burn you out, you use it to ignite your passion. Instead of letting sadness drag you down, you use it to ground yourself in what truly matters. Instead of letting fear stop you, you let it sharpen your focus. Do you see it now? The power that's been lying dormant within you. It's always been there, waiting for you to wake up and claim it. You're not weak. You're not fragile. You're not broken. You're a masterpiece in progress, and every crack, every scar, every bruise is part of your story of resilience, transformation, and triumph. The world tells you to suppress your emotions, to hide your pain, to conform. But what if I told you that your emotions are your greatest allies? That your pain is your strength in disguise? That your uniqueness, the very things they criticize, is what sets you apart? Picture this, you walk into a room and people don't see weakness, they see confidence. They don't see hesitation, they see determination. They don't see someone trying to fit in, they see someone who stands out, someone who owns every inch of who they are. You've been through the fire, and you've survived. Now it's time to thrive. It's time to take all that pain, all that struggle, and turn it into power. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't respect those who crumble under pressure. It respects those who rise above it. So rise. Rise above the doubts, the fears, the limitations. Rise above the noise of the world telling you who you should be. Rise into the person you were always meant to be: strong, fearless, unstoppable. Every time they doubted you, they gave you fuel. Every time they hurt you, they gave you strength. Every time you stumbled, they gave you the chance to rise higher. Use it all. Use the anger, the sadness, the fear. Use the laughter of those who mocked you, the silence of those who ignored you, the rejection of those who underestimated you. You're not the person they thought you were. You're more. You're the person who gets back up, no matter how many times life knocks you down. You're the person who refuses to stay silent, to stay small, to stay in the shadows. Look at yourself now. Do you see it? The fire in your eyes, the strength in your heart, the power in your soul. That's who you are. That's who you've always been. So step into the storm, not as a victim, not as someone trying to survive, but as a force to be reckoned with. Let them see the strength they tried to destroy, the will they couldn't break, the person they never saw coming. You are unstoppable. You are unbreakable. You are undeniable. And the world will know it. They will see it. They will feel it. Because you're not just here to exist, you're here to conquer. So here we are, the moment of truth, a part where all the words, all the emotions, all the promises come to a head. You've heard it all before, haven't you? The motivational speeches, the empty encouragements, the hollow reassurances that everything will be okay. But let's get real, nothing will change unless you make it change. This is the crossroads. One path leads back to where you've been, back to doubt, fear, hesitation. The other path is untamed, unpredictable, and yes, terrifying. But that's the path where greatness lives. That's the path where you become the master, not the pawn. I'm not here to sugarcoat it for you. Life isn't a fairy tale, and this journey isn't easy. It's a war, and every step forward is a battle. But you were built for this. Every scar, every tear, every ounce of pain has prepared you for this moment. The only question is, will you rise to meet it? Look around. The world is full of people who gave up. People who chose comfort over courage, mediocrity over mastery. Don't be one of them. Don't let their doubts, their fears, their limitations define your story. Write your own. Stand up, right now. Stand up not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Stand up against the voices in your head that say, you can't. Stand up against the world that tries to keep you small. Stand up and declare, I'm not here to fit in. I'm here to stand out. The time for waiting is over. The time for excuses is done. This is your moment. Take it. Seize it with everything you have. Be the person who walks into every room with their head held high, not because they're better than anyone else, but because they've conquered themselves. This is the call to arms. Not a fight against others, but a fight for yourself. A fight to become everything you were meant to be. A fight to take control of your life, your destiny, your power. Start now. Don't wait for the perfect moment, it doesn't exist. The only moment you have is this one, right here, right now. Use it. Take one step, no matter how small. Take control of one thought, no matter how chaotic. Win one battle today, no matter how insignificant it seems, because every small victory builds into something greater. Picture it. Picture the life you've always wanted. Picture the strength, the confidence, the power you know is inside you. Picture the faces of everyone who doubted you, who underestimated you, who walked away from you. And then picture their faces when they see you rise. But don't do it for them. Do it for you. Do it because you deserve to see what happens when you don't give up. Do it because you owe it to yourself to live, not just exist. Now, repeat after me. I am in control. I am the master of my fate. I will not be broken. I will not be defeated. I will rise. Say it until you believe it. Say it until it becomes your truth. And then go. Go into the world and show them. Show them the fire they couldn't extinguish. Show them the strength they couldn't break. Show them the person they never saw coming. This is your moment. This is your time. So take it. Own it. And let the world see you for who you truly are. Unstoppable, unbreakable, undeniable. Let them watch as you rise.